Right.
And the twins stay in first, and the airlines must tell you now if they're usually late.
And I think it's important to know if an airline has a lot of delays.
Out west, a train hits a protester.
In Minnesota, a protest over his injury.
A daycare center fire in Minnetonka.
Now, where will the children go?
Tonight, children who are fighting to lose weight.
And a special ski to help the handicapped ride the water.
The 10 p.m. report is coming up next.
I suppose I ought to send this old thing out and get it reupholstered. But I won't give up my comfort for even one day. Just like I won't give up my U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages. It looks like this because I use it. It's the only place I find exactly what I want. These U.S. West Direct folks have been around a long time. I use their book because it's the only one I feel comfortable with.
U.S. West Direct, the one that gets used.
Hi, Bob. New sandwich? Make me one. 3 kind. Surprise me. Multigrain bun? Ooh. Chicken fillet, fresh tomato, crisp lettuce, creamy mayonnaise, and the others.
Now for a short time,
Roast beef, ham and cheese, chicken fillet.
new Supreme Specialty Sandwiches only from Hardee's because we're out to win you over.
Bob, just one more screenful.
We are the sunshine of your life, Minute Maid.
Now Sunshine comes in a brand new form. Introducing Minute Maid Squeeze Fresh.
We are the taste that starts your day, Minute Maid.
So don't squeeze this. Squeeze this. It's 100% pure orange juice concentrate you make fresh by the glass.
We are the sunshine of your life.
New Minute Maid Squeeze Fresh in 5 juicy varieties.
Kathy and Robert Honey's Ford Taurus is an ideal around-the-town car.
Because we have 2 kids and I have my own business, I was looking for a car with roominess.
We chose Taurus simply because it wasn't boxy and big.
There's a lot of space in the car. I can get the kids in and out very easily. And in the rear cargo area, there's a lot of room for whatever I need to carry.
Discover what Taurus can do for you. See your Northland Ford dealer today. You are watching WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Twin Cities' most watched newscasts. With Pat Miles, Don Shelby, Mike Fairborn has weather, and Mark Rosen with sports. And now, this is the 10 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. Soon, when you call your travel agent for a flight somewhere, you can ask what your chance is of getting there on time.
The Transportation Department this afternoon announced a mandate for airlines. Disclose to travel agents how often specific flights arrive on time. Cindy Hilger tonight with a look at how it will affect local travelers and travel agents.
Computer terminals like this will soon have access to information that the federal government hopes will change the airline industry.
And they've got a flight that leaves Newark at 6:50 in the morning, arriving into Minneapolis at 8:27 nonstop.
Beginning October 15th, airlines must report the number of times specific flights have been on time. That information will be passed on to consumers by travel agents and flight reservationists.
It would make it easier for me if I had an airline that didn't have delays.
Along with the on-time information, the airlines will also have to disclose what flights they've canceled, the frequency of lost or damaged baggage, and how many passengers have been bumped because of overbooking. Now, all this information is supposed to help consumers better choose what airlines to fly. The airlines saw this coming and are accepting today's announcement. Northwest told us that they favor this kind of, quote, consumer-oriented proposal. But some travel agents question how effective it will be in a city where one carrier controls 80% of the air traffic.
If they have a choice, they may decide to try another carrier once. It's not likely that they'll stay with that carrier, though. They'll come back to Northwest.
Agents say price and availability of nonstop flights are travelers' top 2 priorities. But after today's announcement, flights with a small chance of delays may soon be added to that list. Cindy Hilger, WCCO Television News.
The airlines must begin reporting the information on October 15th, but it may be December before all travel agents will have access to it on their computer systems.
In Minneapolis this afternoon, peace demonstrators protested what happened to another peace protester in California. As this home video footage shows, Brian Wilson was sitting on a railroad track trying to stop a train from leaving a naval supply station. The train did not stop. Wilson was dragged 20 feet. He is still alive, but has had both legs amputated. A sympathy march for Wilson outside the federal building in Minneapolis was sponsored by Vietnam Veterans for Life.
Tolerate the government's perpetrating violence against the people, whether it's the people of Central America or whether it's the people of the United States.
The demonstration drew about 24 marchers. The Navy, by the way, claims that the train's engineer did try to avoid hitting Wilson but could not stop the train in time.
Tomorrow, St. Paul police will either charge a man with murder or release him. The suspect was arrested in connection with the execution-style shooting of 18-year-old Lynn Ferguson a week ago. Authorities say he is 23 years old, and they believe he is the person who pulled the gun and shot Ferguson twice in the head. But police have already arrested 2 people and then released them without charges. This is the scene that greeted parents this morning as they brought their children to what had been the All Saints Daycare Center in Minnetonka. The church-sponsored center was destroyed early this morning when flames engulfed it. The damage is estimated at $150,000. The pastor says insurance won't cover it.
I'm just sad that it happened. I hope they can rebuild it and have a similar situation, because I really liked the home-type atmosphere.
The 29 displaced children will use the church nursery school for the next few days, but it is not licensed for daycare, so parents will have to find something else. A decision, by the way, to rebuild the center has not yet been made.
Remember when television went from black and white to color? A similar change may be in the cards for the scoreboard at the Metrodome. The reason? Continuing complaints about the poor quality of the screen originally installed in the Metrodome.
I think it's trash. It really is. It's Bush League. All over the major leagues, you see better scoreboards than this. This makes Minneapolis look like a Bush League town.
That existing screen only cost $200,000, but today the Metropolitan Sports Facilities Commission gave preliminary approval for a $5 million colored diamond division screen, which is state-of-the-art. If enough advertisers are found to pick up the tab, the high-tech screen could be in operation by the Twins' opening day next spring. Officials are optimistic. Speaking of the Twins, we're going over to the Sports Center right now for Twins Update. Now, not afraid to ask tonight how the game went with Boston.
Don, I do, by the way, have a black and white TV set. I know you've advanced to color, but the Twins can chalk this one up in the win column. They tried to recover, of course, from a 9-zip rout at the hands of Boston last night. Well, they've done it 5-4. A breather at the Dome tonight. The Twins scoring a pair of runs in the second inning here for a 4-zip lead. They got him on a sacrifice fly. Randy Bush flied to right, and Steve Lombardo as he scored from third. But in the process, he collided with pitcher Al Nipper of Boston. Nipper injured his knee on the play. Al Newman took advantage and scored from second base. Nipper was taken from the field on a stretcher, and we are told at this time that it is termed right now a bruised knee. We have nothing further on that, but the Twins do win at 5-4. For the moment, they go up by one full game over the Oakland A's, who are right now 2-2 in the 9th inning with the New York Yankees. We'll have more on that. We'll have highlights, and we'll be back a little bit later with the Twins Extra.
You'll have to tell us then what the magic number is, okay?
28.
No, all right. We won't have to wait then. Thank you very much, R.J.
Well, here's something to think about. Would you like to see Walter Mondale back in the U.S. Senate? If your answer is yes, you are not alone. A new North Star poll conducted jointly by WCCO Television and the St. Paul Pioneer Press-Dispatch shows that Mondale would pose a serious threat to incumbent Rudy Boschwitz in 1990. That is, if Mondale decides to run. Pat Kessler reports.
Walter Mondale recently moved back to Minnesota to live. He says he has no plans to run for Senate in 1990, but he won't rule it out either. More than half of those we questioned in our latest North Star poll say they'd like to see Mondale run again. And if the election were held today, most of the people we asked said they'd vote for Mondale. Rudy Boschwitz has a national reputation for creative campaigning. He won both of his Minnesota Senate elections in 1978 and 84. But our poll shows Mondale beats Boschwitz among all age groups and education levels, males and females, metro and rural. 3 out of 4 Democrats say they'd vote for Mondale. 6 out of 10 Republicans would stay with Boschwitz. Among independents who often decide the outcomes of elections, Mondale holds a slight edge. 3 years is a long time in anyone's life, but it is an eternity in politics. Even so, our poll shows Mondale is still strong in his home state, even though he hasn't lived here in nearly 20 years. Pat Kessler, WCCO Television News.
This North Star poll, by the way, features a margin of error of plus or minus 3.7 percentage points. 757 adults were interviewed last week for this poll.
Next up on the 10 p.m. report, your health and potato skins. Are they really good for you?
And Tony Vigneri reports on children who are overweight. What can be done to make them healthier again?
Our coast-to-coast store is a friendly place, and we probably can name 75 to 80% of our customers by name.
Get engine protection you can trust with Haviland Supreme Motor Oil. Choice of multi-weights, just 79 cents a quart. Get a free pair of chore gloves when you purchase a pair of tough, durable grain cowhide leather gloves by Wells Lamont. Only $5.99 during our autumn home sale.
America's total hardware stores, coast to coast.
Friends, I'm here to help.
But masked men, we always use regular.
There comes a time when even regular folks must turn to silver.
But why silver?
I don't know, ma'am, but I don't have to. My car knows.
For better performance than regular unleaded, try pure Amoco Silver.
And we didn't even get to thank him.
Neither did our car.
Well, silver! Away!
Things aren't always what they seem. Think this looks like a good defensive play? Look again. It's the immaculate reception I caught to beat Oakland in the AFC playoffs. I'm Franco Harris. If this looks like a typical imported beer, look again. It's Barbican, a non-alcoholic brew with just 50 calories, enjoyed more and more around the world. So if it looks, tastes, and satisfies like a great beer, but it doesn't have the alcohol, look again. It's Barbican.
You work a little harder. Now see what you have won. A special toy for busy wife up in the sun.
Whatever it is you're working for, you can buy it for less at Best Buy Superstores.
Within 20 miles of the two downtowns this morning, a relationship of man and beast played out. It was day 2 of the Metropolitan Goose Hunt, aimed at reducing the numbers of Canadian geese in the Twin Cities. For hunters, it's a rare and early opportunity for some sport.
Yeah, it's kind of an honor to shoot the Canadian goose. It doesn't happen that often, and they're quite a challenge. And after a couple of days of this, they're going to be awful smart. It's not going to be real easy, and it's just a great opportunity as far as I'm concerned.
The goose hunt will continue for 8 more days. It's the first time such hunting has been allowed in the metro area.
The young German pilot who buzzed Lenin's tomb went in trial in Moscow today. Matthias Roos readily admitted he was guilty, said he was sorry, and then explained why he did it. He said he was so upset at the failure of the Iceland summit that he wanted to do something dramatic to focus attention on world peace. It was his hope, he said, to have a talk with Mikhail Gorbachev. Plans have been unveiled for a living memorial to the crew members killed in the shuttle disaster. It will look like this, a center based in Washington, D.C., where students can learn about space in a simulated spaceflight environment. It is the brainchild of the crew members' families. They were in Washington today to announce a $1 million grant, which launches the project. The husband of teacher Krista McAuliffe says his wife would appreciate this memorial.
Krista would not take great pleasure in monuments that were cold steel and granite with beautiful poems chiseled in them. That Krista, if she were to have a memorial, would want a living memorial from which people, especially children, could benefit.
The families will announce in January which cities will become satellite centers for the ambitious space education program. Well, it seems teachers are noticing problems with students known as latchkey children, those who are on their own after school. A new national study sampled public school teachers. A majority say leaving children alone in the afternoon is the biggest cause of learning difficulties in the classroom today.
Fat teenagers. It was a problem 20 years ago, but it's even more of a problem right now. Studies show teens of the 80s are less fit and more prone to obesity than kids were 20 years ago. What's being done to reverse the trend in the Twin Cities? Health and Science reporter Tony Vigneri explains.
This is a weight control class for kids at Children's Hospital in St. Paul. These exercises are just one part of the class for 8 to 11-year-olds. Diet and outside exercise are also stressed. Part of the reason for the condition of our kids today is the 1980s lifestyle.
I think there's a greater tendency to fast foods that are because many of them are deep fried or higher in fat content.
Plus, kids today just aren't physically active. The average teenager watches 25 hours of TV a week.
Well, I came home from school and I had a snack and then I went downstairs and watched TV.
A year ago, Amanda Larson was 50 pounds overweight. Her self-image declined and she felt left out.
I wasn't part of the group, no.
A kids' weight control program at Fairview Ridges Hospital helped Amanda lose 22 pounds.
She has some real good friends right now, and she's had a very busy summer. And so, you know, it's been real positive all the way.
Children's weight control programs help, but changes must start at home with diet and exercise. Health experts say parents should provide the motivation for their kids. The best advice is plan and be involved in physical activity as much as possible and make it fun. For Amanda Larson, it wasn't fun in the beginning, but better food and more exercise have improved her self-image. Tony Vigneri, WCCO Television News, the Twin Cities.
Researchers have come up with something new for us to worry about, and it comes from something as harmless as looking at a potato. And it seems Cornell University scientists have found that potato skins carry toxins now. When some people eat potato skins, they react with headaches, nausea, and diarrhea. Peeling the potato gets rid of the toxin, but boiling and frying potato skins does not. The toxins come naturally, depending on the growing and storage conditions. The bottom line here is that you may find potato skins nutritious and tasty, but they may not be as good for you as you thought.
Nothing that we like is good for us.
No, everything's changing. Nothing's going to be left to eat, certainly nothing at the state fair.
Oh. Up next, the California blaze robs the nation of firefighters, and we will also show you a state fair event that won't be part of driver's education classes. You can bet on that.
Our coast-to-coast store is constantly growing. I just don't think there's any substitute for just good old-fashioned customer service.
Save during our autumn home sale on GE Silicone 2 caulk. 50-year durability, only $1.99 after $2 mail-in rebate. Get Roughies, 35 trash bags or 90 kitchen bags. Your choice, only $2.99 after 50-cent mail-in rebate with purchase of 2.
America's total hardware stores, coast to coast.
This could be your golden opportunity, because inside Trop Arctic's new gold bottle is the premium quality motor oil that keeps your car running smoothly. And a chance to win a gold Pontiac Trans Am or hundreds of other prizes. Just pop out Trop Arctic's cap liner to see if you've won. But hurry, this golden opportunity to win won't last long. Now get a $3.60 rebate with 12 quarts of Trop Arctic. Phillips 66. Good things for cars and the people who drive them.
You've dreamed about it for years. You've planned every detail. At last, you've made the dream come to life. You've put so much into it. Put Olympic stain on it. Olympic protects more homes than any other stain. We've been protecting the American dream for over half a century.
Blind dates. A singles nightmare. She thought he'd be Tom Selleck. He thought she'd be Bo Derek. They hated each other. Next show.
Thursday morning at 8 on Channel 4.
A Reagan administration source says U.S. intelligence reports are helping Iraq in its attacks on Iranian targets in the Persian Gulf. An intelligence source says the support was approved at what he calls the highest levels, but he declined to elaborate. Other officials say top aides to Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger have been the key architects of the helping hand policy.
A convicted mass murderer is up for parole after 21 years behind bars. Richard Speck was a 24-year-old drifter in 1966 when he was convicted of brutally stabbing to death 8 student nurses. At a parole hearing today, family members of the victim shed tears as they begged for his parole to be denied. A decision will be made sometime next week. 1,000 residents of Morristown, Tennessee fled their homes today when a poisonous cloud of chlorine escaped from a water treatment plant. 2 workers and 2 firefighters needed treatment for inhaling the gas. And firefighters from Minnesota and across the nation are having very little luck in squelching the forest and brush fires that have now plagued 5 western states. So many reinforcements have been called in that there are only 1,000 American forest fighting specialists who are not in California tonight, trying to put those fires
A lot of thunderstorms out there in the west, but they are causing as many fires as they're
Well, didn't they say many of those were started by lightning strikes,
Yes,
weren't they?
and that's exactly what it is the thunder and lightning. And hey, this is the first year that I haven't had to wear a disguise out at the state fair so far. It's been nice weather.
That's right.
Oh, it's been beautiful weather.
It really has been. It's going to continue, too. It's going to warm up a little bit. Maybe a chance of some showers on Friday, but I wouldn't stay away from the fair based on that at this point. We've been watching the clear skies we've had over us today turn into clear skies tonight. Some high, thin clouds drifting across the northern part of the state. Way out here in the west, though, something's happening. We'll show you a wider view of that here in just a second. Our current conditions here in the Twin Cities, we are clear. The temperature is 60 degrees, humidity 69%. Winds are southeast at 6 with the clear skies and the light winds. That temperature's already dropped to 60. We'll drop down to around 50 overnight tonight. Our dew point is 50 degrees, and the barometer is 30.14, and it's rising. We'll take a look at the wide view of the satellite. You can see the clouds out along the western part of North and South Dakota. That's along the leading edge of some warmer air that's going to be pushing its way into us, and so tomorrow our temperature will climb about 10 degrees over what we were today. And with that, at least, the threat of some shower and some thunderstorm activity. You can see where the heat was today, 90s throughout much of western North and South Dakota and out into Montana, all the way up into Canada. We still stayed in the 70s here, 60s up in the Arrowhead area, but 80s out the west of us. And with the winds blowing out of the south and southwest tomorrow, we'll warm up a little bit. Our weather guide today, we did reach 72 degrees underneath those beautiful blue clear skies we had. 50 for an overnight low, no precipitation. Sunrise in the morning will be at 6:37. We'll set tomorrow night at 7:47. Our radar shows that we do have some showers and thunderstorms down along the southeast. A little scattering of showers all the way from northern New Mexico up into eastern Colorado and parts of Nebraska, but nothing showing up over the upper Midwest yet. But keep an eye on those clouds out in the west. Maybe some shower and some thunderstorm activity by late tomorrow night and into Friday. And this is part of the reason why. As we get into the warm sector tomorrow, the temperatures will climb. Then the cold front will approach sometime late tomorrow night. And as that does, that's where the moisture will collect and the threat, at least, of some showers. Well, our high temperatures for tomorrow will climb into the 80s. We'll have some 90s again out to the west of us. Up in the Arrowhead area and around Duluth, temperatures will still only be in the 70s. So it's going to be pretty pleasant across most of the upper Midwest still tomorrow. Another view there of the fair. We're going to wear you out on the fair this week, I guess, but it is pretty out there to see all the lights and the people enjoying themselves. Mostly clear, 52 degrees, southeast winds at 5 to 15 miles an hour. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warmer, 82, southeast winds at 15 to 25. Getting a little bit windy in the afternoon, maybe some wind gusts up around 30, 35 for a while. Mostly cloudy with the chance of some showers as early as tomorrow night, 60 degrees for a low, and then for Friday, showers and possible thunderstorms with a high of around 82 degrees. The extended outlook calls for some showers to linger on into Saturday, but Sunday and Monday turning fair again, with temperatures dropping out of the upper 70s back into the low to mid 70s, and the overnight lows in the 50s. Still very, very nice late summer weather.
Actually, it couldn't be better. We talked to the guy who does the tightrope walking tonight. He hardly got to walk at all last year because of the weather, but he...
Well, it was windy. I noticed a little bit of breeze out there tomorrow might be kind of tricky for him, and especially for those high divers. You see them out there?
Yes.
Enough breeze out there tonight that I wouldn't have wanted to dive 50 feet into a tank of water.
Those are some interesting
Even
characters.
on a calm night, I guess.
Yeah, especially those skinny guys. The skinny guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Now for that guy that we know could find a parking spot at the state fair. He's the driver of what is called a monster truck, which he named Beast. His own name is Mike Katz. His game is, well, you can see for yourself here. Best half is military tank, half 1977 Chevy Blazer, and those cars could once be driven on the road, if you believe that. Of course you believe it.
Donate your car
Found
for
himself
that.
a parking place there, didn't he? Huh?
That's right. R.J. Fritz is here with the good news.
Another win.
Yes, and we're one game up, right?
Oh, yes, one up right now over Oakland at the time. Twins over Boston 5-4, Oakland 2-2 with the Yankees late in that game as they've done so often at their dome this season. The Twins scoring early. Randy Bush, a solo home run in the first inning, gave the Twins a 1-zip lead. It was Randy's 8th home run of the year, and it came off Boston starter and loser Al Nipper. In the Twins' second, they scored 3 times, 2 on this bizarre play. A sacrifice fly appears harmless enough. Throw to the plate there, and Boston pitcher Al Nipper is hit on the knee in the collision with Steve Lombardozzi. He was knocked out of the game with a bruised knee, and it was Jeff Reardon coming on the 8th inning in relief of Juan Berenguer, shut the door, gaining his 26th save. Squeeze it. There's the final out. Twins win it 5-4, and we'll have more on the Twins game, plus a feature on the Twins tonight on Twins Extra coming up next on Channel 4. The Twins up by 1 over Oakland at the moment. California is in 3rd place, 4 games out. Kansas City, the Royals, are 4.5, putting a little bit of room between the also-rans. New York tonight, Terry Steinbach of New Ulm there helped out Oakland. He singled home the first run of the night. Steinbach has done a great job for the A's. Bill Schroeder didn't waste time getting the winning runs for the Brewers over Kansas City. Schroeder hit a 3-run homer in the first, and that's all it took in a 3-2 win. Tom Candiotti lost a no-hit bid and a ball game in the 8th inning at Detroit. Matt Noakes ruined the no-hitter, an RBI single. It was the only hit Candiotti gave up, but he still loses the game 2-1. On the scoreboard, Toronto has defeated California 7-6. The Yankees have defeated Oakland 3-2. That final is in, so the Twins go a game and a half up on the A's. Milwaukee's, we said, by 1 over KC. Seattle downs Baltimore 8-6. Chicago shuts out Texas 5-0. It's 2-1 Detroit over Cleveland. And Willie McGee must have felt like hiding under a piece of artificial turf here tonight. Watch this. His attempted steal. He's called safe. He thinks he's out. He walks off the bag. His tagged out. Oh, no, that's embarrassing. National League, Pittsburgh shuts out Atlanta 2-zip. Houston over Chicago 10-1. The Reds down the Cards 3-1, as we said, and Montreal beat San Francisco 7-3. Mets and San Diego 2-all in the 4th, and Philadelphia leads Los Angeles 2-0 in the 3rd. For the last 18 years, Jimmy Connors has celebrated his birthday at the U.S. Open. Well, today, he did the same. He turned 35. He said he's looking forward to the day he doesn't have a birthday at the Open. Could that mean Jimmy is hinting of retiring soon? Well, he's not that far away. Whatever the case, he did dispose of Joey Rive, 6-1, 6-4, 6-4, first round of the Open. Connors has been bothered by foot blisters. 3rd-seeded Chris Everett in the near court has had her share of success at the Open. She's won 6 times, and today Everett advanced to the 2nd round with a 6-1, 6-love win over Susan Sloan. So that's it from the U.S. Open. Best news we've had, this Yankees score just handed us. Yankees 3-2 over Oakland. We're now up by a game and a half. 29, the magic number.
Go
28's
Yanks.
the magic number.
Go Yanks.
You know what my dream is?
What's that?
Cardinals, Twins, World Series.
And a ticket to the World Series.
And a ticket in my pocket.
Yeah.
Have I been asleep? We're calling her Chris Everett now, right?
Chris Everett. That's
because of the
her
thing.
new name. Yeah, because of the
pardon me, breakup of the family. Okay. All right. Next, limited on land but not on water, a look at a ski for handicap.
At Super America, the bakery goods are always fresh. They come piping hot from Supermom's kitchen directly to our shelves early each morning. Over 100 varieties in all, but they don't last long. That's because whatever is left on our shelves after 24 hours is immediately replaced. So come to Super America, where the bakery is always fresh.
Game Fair, the outdoor sporting event for the entire family. Starting August 29th, WCCO's Don Shelby gives the big picture on bass fishing. Bring your dog, pack your bow or gun, and practice with the pros. Visit outdoor exhibits. And now, for the first time ever, Science Diet and British Airways bring together the best British and American retrievers and handlers. Meet the Queen of England's dog handler, Tony Parnell. Game Fair starts August 29th and includes Labor Day weekend at the Armstrong Ranch Kennels in Anoka.
The world's on fire, show 'em all you have to go. Put the heat out on the street and watch the faces start to glow. Turn it on.
The heat is on at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. Now get great savings on Mercury Cougar when you buy a preferred equipment package along with 1.9 APR financing. Save on Mercury Sable with a preferred equipment package and 1.9% financing.
Turn it on and on and on and on. Turn the heat on.
See your Northwest Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Hey, listen. Oh, if you can put it on, you can pull it out. You've got your own style. You've got your own style. When you need a new look, the foreigner. More than you know. Donaldson's more than you know. Donaldson's more than you know.
Bit of trivia, you might know the answer. Did you know that water skiing was invented right here in the land of 10,000 lakes?
Well, that's right, but when it came to inventing a water ski for the disabled, a Belgian did that 19 years ago. However, now a Twin Cities business entrepreneur has come up with his own version. Business reporter Alan Cox and photographer Bill Kruskoff took in a demonstration this afternoon.
Bruce Huber had been an athletic 13-year-old, but then came a traffic accident, horrible burns that cost him his legs, a long effort to retrieve his mobility. It went on this afternoon as Huber tried out a new ski design. On his second outing, he was able to glide behind a motorboat. It was piloted by the ski's inventor, John Aguilar. Like any skier, Huber took the occasional fall, held safely by a flotation bed.
Very fluid. Once you get out of the waves, ride the wake, you're almost like you're on air.
The manta ray, as Aguilar calls it, is industrial plastic, 42 inches in diameter, and on the bottom, 3 hulls that give it stability. It's not only for the disabled, beginning skiers can use it for flying, kneel, even to stand with some practice. The inventor devised it for himself because football injuries left his knees too weak for conventional skis. He dreams of profits, but says there are other benefits.
To see someone perform with that much proficiency on the first or second time on it tells me an awful lot about certainly that individual, but also tells me about the capability of the product itself.
And for Bruce Huber, it's a way to escape the limits on his motion.
Usually the work put forth is somewhat cumbersome, and I strive for fluidity of movement. That's what my goal is. This is freedom.
The Manta Ray will sell for $150. Its creator says he hopes to take $1 million in orders at a trade show this fall, and he tells us that he invested his life savings in developing that product, and we hope it does well.
Oh, hope it sells like $1 million. I'm going to tell you what the weather's going to be now. For tomorrow, partly cloudy and warmer, high around 82 degrees. Still lots of time to get out to the State Fair and come out and see us for our noon, 5 and 6 p.m. reports out there. Hope you do.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
I'm Jim Rogers.